lot like Battle Angel Alita, but it's actually superior to Battle Angel Alita, in my opinion. There is a very direct delineation between the poor and the super uber riche. For instance, the affluent speak French, which has always been considered a language of the learned, or of the literate, and they played classical music, also part of the upper echelon of the more refined people. And then you've got the music of the people down in Los Angeles, the dilapidated, run-down, disease-ridden, malady-infected people, and they listen to this kind of trance-like music, electronic, and it's very reminiscent of Skrillex. And they also speak Spanish. Not to sound derogatory or racist in any way, but Spanish has always been considered the language of the common denominator, or the working class. So I think that when they made that decision, it was very well done, and very accurate. You can see very clear-cut versions between the those who have everything that they could possibly want, like Elysium itself. They have works of art that are very Parisian and Romanesque and Grecian, and the way that they are depicted, and their homes too. It's very Roman, and just the way that everything's so green and lush and fresh and vibrant, versus that of Los Angeles, which really doesn't have any colors, just vast and graffiti. And then you have these parole robots that, oddly enough, are built by Max, the main character, who is under parole. It is very paradoxical that he would be making the very thing that is oppressing him and the people around him. A little smidgen of a spoiler alert here. Max's character is actually a messianic figure, and I'm not going to go into why this is, but it's very, very crystal clear as to why this is later on in the movie. We've got great characters like Spider and Julio, the people that support. Well, Spider's pretty much, he doesn't take anything from anybody, and he does things for his own good. He tries to help other people, but he's pretty much in it for himself. He changes later on in the movie, which is a kind of a revelation of his character and repentance and all that. And Julio is, his one of his buddies. He's got all these people that he knows from growing up, being taken care of by the nuns, and he also has a childhood sweetheart named Frey. And I thought, Freya, because that name itself depicts Norse mythology. And I wonder, is he the hero that goes after? Yeah, I think that's what they were trying to do, is kind of incorporate a little bit of Norse mythology, and the whole idea of the Elysian Fields, which is, if you're familiarized with Greek mythology, then you know that those gods and goddesses, when they were killed, or when they died, or the demigods themselves, they could go to the Elysian Fields, and all the rest went to Tartarus. And yeah, that to heck with that. That's terrible. Sorry, to heck with that. I'm so funny, but it's just really a solid action film, as the romance in it and the suspense. And I was on pins and needles the entire time with one of the villains that was involved, and I just utterly hated him. Uh, Jodie Foster plays a very interesting character in this particular film as well, and you really don't feel any compassion for her when she goes through her ordeal later on in the movie itself, but you kind of do, but then you kind of don't. It's this kind of mixed bag of feelings that I had as a viewer. This movie could definitely be feasible within the real world, with overpopulation and lack of resources, and it was definitely more logical or rational than After Earth, and far, far more superior. Um, this has got to be my ultimate pick of the summer, flat out. And give it two thumbs way up, 5 stars across the board. It was just absolutely sensational. The music in it was just tremendous. CGI was just breathtaking. The fight scenes were just unbelievable. The tech in this was just sweet. It was so algebraic. I highly, highly, highly recommend this movie if you're a sci-fi buff like myself. I'm very picky about what I watch. When I saw this, I thought Battle Angel Alita was an immediate thing that popped into my head. But despite that, I thought I'm gonna go see this anyway, just because I know I'm familiarized with this kind of comparison and contrast between those who have it very well and are high off the hog versus those who have to scrape by just to make a living, just like Max's character had to do, creating the very AI that was oppressing the people of Los Angeles. And then you've got a character like Carlisle, who's very intriguing in and of himself, because he's kind of an envoy or an ambassador, but he belongs to both worlds, oddly enough, even though he is dressed like a businessman and is obviously rich. He even has reach tattooed across his cheek, as if it weren't any more apparent that he was, money, 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 made out of it. And Jodie Foster's character, Demond, I think, President Demond is her name, which is kind of ironic in of it, because Dumont means the world, or part of the world. She's not even part of. She's part of Elysium. She has no part of the. I just thought, that's very unusual that they would give her that last name, but that's just me knowing my French. But she was using him as a pawn in a certain aspect. And I just thought, oh, this is another interesting plot twist here. And there's another character that comes in later. His name's Kruger. And Kruger, I just love to hate Kruger, because Kruger is this character who is mentally unstable, and he's been convicted of murder, rape, and manslaughter, and yet he is been deployed by Elesium to be their dog, basically, to hunt the escapees that go try to make it to Elysium in these pods. And he's got all this just incredible tech, and he's just this menacing character, and he's just he's creepy, and I just hated him with every fiber of my being. Um, he was also had a worlds, because he was originally a citizen of Elysium. He had his tattoo, his identification code on his skin, which marks you as a citizen of Elysium. See, this movie is very multi-layered, and I would not hesitate to say I would love to see it again, just because there's so much to it, and it is so immersive, and it was just awesome. My breath was literally taken from me. I was just transfixed the entire time. There really wasn't any sort of down period of time within this film in and of itself. And if you like this kind of idea, as far as movies go, you will definitely love this film, because it's just absolutely beautiful in every aspect. Even the differences between Elysium versus that of just the ordinary world underneath, that they do their best just to survive every day, and they get treated at hospitals, but they can't get cured, because they just can't afford it. They don't have the technology that the people of Elysium do, because people of Elysium can do whatever they like. There's an irony in that in and of itself later on with Jodie Foster's character. I won't go into it. Is I thought, huh, isn't that interesting? But it just was a sensational movie, and I absolutely loved it. And I can't say anything more than, if you have a chance to see it in the cinema, do, because it is a really uh, magnificent cinematic experience that should not be missed at all